Hello again. So over the past month, and my goodness, yeah, I can say over the past month, it's already the 1st of October. If I seem to have the same hairdo as a video that's going to be coming out a bit later in the month, it's because I was batch recording today. I accidentally deleted all the content I needed for a vlog tutorial that I was working on, so we had to redo that. But that's not why we're here today. No, we are here today because I've collected questions that you have very, very kindly asked me in order to help me prepare content for this week's video. So we're having a good old-fashioned Q&A. I really hope you've been doing well, as this is going to be a bit of a chattier video. I'm just gonna wait a little bit while you go grab your drinks. Maybe grab some food, some snacks, some dinner, I don't know. I'll wait, okay? So before we start anything, I'm Witch's Brew, which today really is just water because I've already had 20 ounces of tea. I woke up at 5:30 this morning and I thought, beautiful morning, I'm gonna have a lot of tea. Okay, so what are we gonna be doing in this video, this little Q&A? I'm gonna be crocheting on a sweater that I forgot to tell you about when I did my podcast, which is the previous video. And this is a sweater that I started to crochet along with my single crochet V-stitch series. So I did a whole series at the beginning of the year where we learned the single crochet V-stitch, we practiced increasing on it, and the last project in our single crochet V-stitch series was crocheting a raglan sweater. So this was my second version of that. I wanted this one to be a lot more fall, and the colors really do say it's fall, y'all. So I'm quite happy with that. But I'm gonna be crocheting on this. So a little bit of a background for this top before we begin. This, as I said, is just a single crochet V-stitch raglan, and I am actually ripping back a project to crochet it. So ages ago, 2017, my beautiful people, 2017. I crocheted a raglan sweater using some super woolly wool yarn from the Dyer Crafternoon Treats, and this was woolen spun yarn. So I don't know if you've ever worked with woolen spun yarn, but it tends to be very, very lofty. To me, it looks worlds different from a worsted spun, and I actually have both because I'm using this golden color turmeric latte from the goddess Dyer, Stitchcraft and Wizardry, Anna of Stitchcraft and Wizardry. This is turmeric latte. Beautiful, beautiful yarn. This is worsted spun, okay? But on the other hand, literally on my other hand, I have a woolen spun yarn. And I don't think I have any pictures of me actually wearing this sweater, but this is what it was like before we frogged it back. I still have quite a bit of yarn left, as you can see. Trying to decide what's a good point to split this batch of yarn that I have so that I still have enough for either sleeve, because I want this to be like a cutesy oversized raglan sweater, okay? And I think I mentioned this previously, but it's because I saw, I think Bonnie, her name's Bonnie, yeah, a Flashes in Style where it was a crew neck from Free People, and that's what we're going with size anyway. So that is what I'm going to be working on, okay? And I'm going to be working on this while I answer your questions. Now, it's a little bit challenging to find an angle where you can see me, all of me, but also see what I'm working on and me not have to shout to get my point across, which really means, Clarissa, your next purchase should be a microphone for the camera, because I do have a voiceover microphone that works beautifully, but for this camera we do not have a microphone, so we're just simply going with the actual audio, camera audio, and that can be challenging. All right, let's begin. So I've had a good number of questions, which I'm very, very happy with. So once again, thank you for that. I won't say who the questions are from because I kind of forgot to ask if they minded being mentioned, but I think I'll get to all of them. So if you recognize your question, comment and let me know. Okay, so let me get comfy. Let me get settled in. And I really hope my idea works because I am one of those people that get distracted by my stitching and then forget to talk. So if that happens, we're going to put aside the crochet and then just, you know, chat a one-on-one as it should be. Unfortunately, I think I'm going to have to tweak my camera angle to see if you can see what I'm crocheting on. We're going to try this again. All right, hopefully you can see a little bit of what I'm crocheting and you can hear me because, okay, I got my questions right in front of me here. My beautiful. Okay, so first question, how long have you been crocheting? I've been crocheting now, what year are we in, 2024? Okay, so this is a little bit of a backstory. I first picked up a crochet hook when I was 15 years old, and my aunt was teaching me the chain stitch. Now, she wouldn't let me progress with my crochet until my chain stitches were nice and even. And that means Clarissa had no patience for crochet. So after that endeavor, I put down the crochet hook and I didn't pay attention to anything crochet related until I got to my first year of university. I was doing my bachelor's degree in history. I don't think that adds anything to the story, but thought I would say it. I was doing my degree in history, and right in orientation week, I saw a girl with a crochet purse. And I said, I want one of those. So I went back home, talked to mom, and mom was taught to crochet by her sister years before I was born. So we kind of both picked up crochet, trying to work little stitches here and there. And I actually have a picture of that project, which was actually a sewn bag that I added crochet elements to. Didn't touch crochet again bless you. Didn't touch crochet again until I was finishing my bachelor's degree and I was getting ready to move to do my master's degree to Syracuse, New York. Because yes, I also have a master's degree in museum studies. And I needed warmth in Syracuse, okay? Yeah, that is upstate New York. It's about 2.5 hours from Niagara Falls on the Canada side, and about 4.5 hours very early in the morning to 5 hours from New York City. That's where Syracuse is located. So I needed some warm things, and that is really when I started crocheting, and I never looked back. So we're talking 2012. Do the math on how many years that is, because well, it's definitely more than 10 because we're 2024, so yeah, that's how long I've been crocheting. Oh my god, that's a long time. So I think with that, I also kind of answered the second question, which was, who taught you to crochet and why did you learn? So to recap, my aunt first taught me what a chain stitch was, but from then on, I learned together with mom watching Crochet with Claire. She's here on YouTube. I watched all of her tutorials, and why did I want to learn? Well, first of all, we established because I wanted to make a purse, and then out of survival in Syracuse, New York. So that is my not so interesting crochet story, crochet journey, but I am very happy with it nonetheless. I also actually had to do a lot of crocheting in Syracuse because I kept losing hats and mitts in the bus. Is that a tradition? Like, are you always supposed to lose a hat and a mitt when you ride the public buses? I don't know. All right, third question. What drew you to designing patterns? So, funnily enough, I was talking to Chelsea of Knitting Tipsy about this, and I actually had no intentions of becoming a crochet designer. What happened was that I wanted to become a crochet content creator, and I wanted to respect other people's privacy, or actually other people's copyrights, in terms of, you know, not crocheting a pattern that I hadn't designed, not giving too many details about patterns that weren't from my own imagination. And so that kind of led me down the path of crochet designing, because if I design something, I can tell you as much or as little as I want about it, right? And I am kind of very thankful that I decided to follow that route, because it has challenged me in a lot of ways, math-wise. It's also helped me grow my self-esteem a lot. I suffer from imposter syndrome constantly. But the more I design crochet patterns, the more that feedback that I got from them, the more help that I got designing them, the more confident I became in designing. And the more confident that I became in being able to teach other people how, not how to do things, but perhaps one way of doing things, or better yet, to teach other people the way that I do things, which I'm not saying is the correct way. The correct way is whatever way works for you, honestly. So that really kind of is what drew me into pattern designing. And honestly, when you're on the outside looking in, I don't know, I felt that it was a glamorous lifestyle, but also a service lifestyle, because you are helping other people complete things that they want. You're filling a gap in other people's lives, and that really is kind of like when content creation and crochet design clicked together with me. It's not the design and the content creation, it's not so much about me as it is about building a community and just being able to help other people fulfill their crochet dreams. So I hope that made sense. What was your first time Frankensteining a crochet project? Let's start, I guess, with the definition of Frankensteining a crochet project or something like that. I first came across this terminology when I was sewing, because you kind of have to work around the guidelines, okay? So you buy a sewing pattern and it's meant for these sizes, but you realize, at least in my case, my body doesn't fall under just one size. Technically, I am 3 different sizes when I'm sewing, so my top would be small, my waist would be medium, and then my hips sometimes fall between a medium or a large, depending who graded the sewing pattern. So I really had to Frankenstein 3 sizes together in order to sew something that would actually fit me. So in terms of doing that, the first time I ever had to actually play around with stitch count, hook sizes, and all of that to get something that would fit me was when I made, oh my god, I think it's the marigold sweater. All right, now we can chat in true comfort and you can kind of see what I'm working on. You also get to see the mess that my bedroom is, but please ignore that for the sake of our conversation. All right, let's see, what other questions do we... Oh, I was answering the Frankenstein crochet question. So, yes, that was the first time I ever combined sizes to really make a garment that would fit me. Now, if we're talking about Frankensteining when it comes to putting pieces of patterns into another pattern, I think the first time I ever did that was with knit socks. It wasn't actually crochet, it was with knit socks. I was making, I don't remember the exact pattern, but I know that I really like the umbrella toe that Kay Jones, the Bakery Bears podcast, had created. So I tend to put that toe on every single pattern that I make. And also, when I was knitting socks, I thought, why don't we try adding a crochet heel to knit socks? So I think we can also call that Frankensteining. I do have a video on adding a crochet heel to a knit sock in this channel. However, it turned out that it needed to have some things fixed, okay? Mostly we're using black yarn. Clarissa, no, you can't. Doing a tutorial in black yarn is just like a no-no. So I have recorded a separate one. The reason it's never been edited or seen the light of day is because I could not for the life of me find the finished socks. That's what happened. All right, so do we have any other crochet related questions here? Yes, we do. Okay, so what is your favorite go-to mindless crochet project or general craft project? I have to say that my mindless go-to projects, whether in knitting or crochet, are raglan sweaters. I just love the fact that you are only adding increases in 4 specific spots, and if you are already past the increases, man oh man, all you have to do is work that same stitch in the round, unless of course you're doing color work or something with a bit of a challenging stitch combination. Then raglan's not that fun. But if it's just like a basic raglan, for example, this one that I'm doing, which is the single crochet V-stitch raglan, yeah, go-to project, because I can chat while I crochet it and I don't really have to think about it. Also, anything that has to do with granny stitch. I also have a kind of a recipe vlog type for a granny stitch sweater, and granny stitch to me is just pretty mindless. I can do it without looking at my work because I know that I'm just going to be working 3 double crochet stitches into a space. So that's my flex. Also, can I just flex about how happy I am that I'm actually just able to sit here and chat with you as I'm actually crocheting? I cannot emphasize enough how weird that is for me, okay? So really that is mindless craft would definitely be crochet, and mindless project would definitely be a simple raglan sweater. Those are it for me. Anything that you're just going round and round and round and you don't have to put so much thought into it. Someone also asked what is my favorite craft. And I know you're probably thinking crochet because that's what you make and do most often, but I think crochet it definitely falls under favorite because it's for sure a comfort. It's a comfort craft. I'm also going to say baking. I love to bake. Lately it's been bread. I love to bake bread, but also muffins. I like to bake muffins. Cookies, yes and no. Cookies use a lot of fat, a lot of butter, and sometimes that scares me, okay? The amount of butter that you need to make some cookies, I'm like, woo-wee! Am I gonna live past, well, you know, yes, I've lived past 30, so I guess the next goal is past 40, but hey, you know, that's a concern for future Clarissa. Okay, so yeah, favorite craft will just definitely, we're gonna have to go with somewhere between crochet and baking because I love baking. I'm a kitchen witch, okay? So favorite craft, kitchen witchery. Okay, now in terms of, oh, we have two more that are very craft related, so let's get to those before I get to life questions. I didn't get a lot of life questions, but got a couple, and apparently I'm just very chatty, so hey yo, you might get more details than you asked for, or that you bargained for. Okay, so I have 2 questions that are similar. Favorite thing to make, and the top 3 or 5 things you've ever made. So, favorite thing to make, it depends on the season. It depends on the season. So throughout most of the year, favorite things to make, definitely garments. I love creating something that I get to wear, that I get to style, that I can layer. I love layers, okay? I do. And second favorite thing to make. And other things that I definitely like to make throughout the rest of the year is home decor. Now, I know you might be saying that's a very broad category, and I agree, okay? I agree. For example, under my home decor, blankets do not fall into that category. No, they look beautiful. They appeal to me in the coziest of levels, but making one, ouch, ouch. Okay, so when I mean home decor, I just mean like cutesy little things that I can place around my home that, you know, just give it a little bit of a personal touch. I love, for that, I love making coasters. I really like making teapot cozies as well. And for sure, I love making kitschy things for my house during the holidays. Like, love crocheting pumpkins, or at least I love adding pumpkins to my house. And I think that kind of covers favorite things to make. And let's follow that up with the top 3 or 5 favorite things that I've ever made. Now, as we've established, I've been crocheting for many a year. And in that time, I've had several favorites. So probably everything I finish, I say, this has been my favorite thing. But, I'm gonna try to really narrow it down. Some knit socks that I've made for mom as favorites. I'm really proud that I learned to knit while knitting socks. Seriously, those are the first things I ever knit, and for about 2 years those were the only things that I would knit, socks. And I am very happy that I learned how to make one. I haven't knit or crocheted socks in quite a while, but I think it was the monkey socks, maybe that's what they're called, the monkey socks that I crocheted for mom, a knit pattern. It was the first time I was doing lace and knitting in fine yarn, so I'm definitely super proud of those, and they have to fall under favorite makes. Now, if you're ever interested also in like these favorites, mom and I did record a video together talking about our favorite patterns. So these are patterns that we've made and patterns that we want to make in the very near future, and I did talk about some of my favorites there. So if you watch that, this will be a repeat, but if you haven't seen that, then this will be a little bit new. I'm gonna follow up those knit socks with a very simple crochet skirt, and I actually have it right next to me, which shocking, unprepared. And it is this skirt. This skirt is a favorite for various reasons. I guess you can also say it's a Frankenstein skirt because I did granny squares at the bottom in a beautiful colorway that was from, I think it's Black Elephant Yarns. The gunmetal blue here is from Cloudborn Fibers. It is their Pima cotton. I do not think Cloudborn Fibers is in business anymore. And then we topped off the skirt with an elastic so that it would actually stay on my body. And this is just a favorite because it goes with so many things, and it's beautiful, beautiful color combinations, and it doesn't fit anymore, but I still keep it, and I still try to squeeze myself into it every day because I love how flattering it just came out, and it's still a favorite. Another favorite, and I think this is our third one, right? It's our third one, is going to be definitely the flower duster. The crochet flower duster is a favorite for 2-3 reasons, maybe. I love wearing it. I love crocheting it. And it's a great layering piece. Again, I love layers, so. And you know, tell me some of your favorites, okay? Let me know what is like some of the things that you've crocheted that just, you're like, I did that. Yeah, I did. Oh, now that I say that, I did that. Another one fave is the Halloween costume that I made where I turned myself into a woodland fairy. That is definitely a favorite. I am so proud of that costume, and I still look at it and I'm like, you go girl, you did that. Yeah, you did. So that is 4 favorites, I think. And you know, let's leave it at that. Let's leave it at 4 favorites, and you complete the 5 favorites by telling me yours. That's what we're gonna do. So that was it for crafty questions. Let's go a bit into life questions. For life questions, we have 3. One is, what's something cozy you'd like to add to your routine or home? Okay, so let's start with something cozy that you would like to add to your home, because I have several ideas here. Our house doesn't really have a lot of windows, so we don't really get a lot of natural light. And I consider natural light to be way cozier than, you know, artificial lighting, which is what we're using now. So definitely one thing that I would like to add to my home is more windows. Get those lovely glowy rays. I would love that. The second thing that I would love to add to our home to make it cozier is a very comfortable armchair. Like, I want a chair that I can cozy in and tuck myself in and crochet or watch movies or color or just sit and just be, you know, a place to just sit and be. And you might be saying, but what about that armchair? Which, by the way, is one of the armchairs that I have in my cozy crochet corner over on my Amazon homepage. It had good reviews and I liked the color, so I bought it. It's not a bad armchair, to be honest. I just wish it was a little higher in the back so I had more support for my neck. But it's not a bad armchair, to be honest, and it fits very nicely in our living room, and I've dragged it into our bedroom, which would also fit in that little corner over there. So yeah, this is not a bad one, but the one I'm dreaming about is a barrel chair. I know, you're probably seeing this trend everywhere, and if you haven't, here's a picture of what a barrel chair looks like. It's basically a very oversized armchair that you can stretch out in and stretch your legs, have back support, everything. Now, I will say, I've been looking at them for a while, and it's one of those things you really have to save money for, because if you go on the lower end of the spectrum, you know you're not going to have the most comfortable item. However, the very height of the spectrum is the 6-penny day bed. That's what it's called. It's called this day bed. And she is glorious, okay? She is what I dream about. But also on the higher end of that spectrum as well is a Herman Miller chair. I call it the egg chair. And it's a recliner, but the reason I like it is not because I can stretch out completely in it like in a barrel chair, but man, the back support you get with that. I could probably crochet hours on that thing. So those are a couple of items that I really want to add to my home. Even if I would save and get the most expensive 6-penny day bed, it would still be cheaper than adding windows to my home. So I'm going to call the barrel chair, the barrel accent chair, more of an achievable coziness than adding more windows. Another one I got asked was, what do you do for work? So this is my work. Or at least I should say, I've tried and I've considered it my work ever since I got laid off in 2020. Now, if you are wondering where I'm classically trained, as I said, I have a bachelor's degree in history and I have a master's degree in museum studies. I used to work as a librarian before I moved to Florida. And after I moved to Florida, I worked in the hospitality industry. I worked at a sushi bowl restaurant and I also worked as a social media specialist. And that was the job that I got laid off from in 2020. And ever since 2020, I have been working on crochet content creation and crochet pattern design as my full-time work. That is kind of like my work history. And the last question that I got was, let me read it out loud. I want to read it correctly. If you could only ever drink one tea for the rest of your life, what would it be? So 2 questions here, or at least 1 question. Are you referring to a tea brand or a tea type? Are we talking black tea, herbal teas, or are we talking brands? I'm going to cheat, and I'm going to give you 2 answers. So the first answer would definitely be that if I could only drink one type of tea for the rest of my life, I would go with black tea. Black tea is my first love, and it is the one that I've continuously clung to throughout all my years. I love the taste of black tea. I love adding milk to my tea. I don't add a lot, you know, like a tablespoon. And I love the customization possibilities with black tea. So if I just have black tea, I can add hazelnut syrup. I can add pumpkin spice syrup. I can add apple caramel. I can add maple syrup if I want to. I don't usually add sweeteners to my tea, but I can. I want to go wild. I add some spices there and make it a chai. Black tea. That's what I'm going with. If, however, you're like, no, my girl, you can only have one tea blend for the rest of your life, then I would say I am going to go for Taylor's of Harrogate English breakfast blend. Their English breakfast blend is my favorite. It is a blend of black tea and Assam. Assam tea is like the most caffeinated of teas, but it has like some earthy tones that I love. Okay, I absolutely love. And again, I can add milk to it. I can add a little sweetener to it. My favorite sweetener to add to that Hardy & Sons English breakfast blend is hazelnut. I love making a hazelnut latte with that tea. So those are the 2 answers of if I could only ever drink one tea for the rest of my life. Now tell me, are you a tea person or a coffee person? And before you answer, I'm going to preface this by saying the best tea is the one that you like to drink. The best coffee is the one that you like to drink, okay? We're not snobs here. Whatever you like to drink, that is the best for you. Alright? So, with that little tidbit of fortune cookie Clarissa, I think we've reached the end of this video. Probably a lot longer than I thought I was gonna make it, but thank you. Thank you for making it possible. I hope that I answered all of your questions. If I answered one of your questions and you're still like, but I'm curious about XYZ, feel free to answer it. I will either answer it in this video, or who knows, maybe if we rack up enough questions, we will answer it in a future Crochet Cakes video, because I cannot believe we're already in October. Where did September go? Okay, I'm losing my voice because I've been talking really loudly, trying to overcome all the noises that are going on in the back of this camera. So I am going to let you go. Once again, thank you so much for literally making this video possible, because without your curiosity and your genuine niceness in actually responding to my Ask Me Questions prompts, I am able to create this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got some crafty time in. Let's see how much we crochet together. Porque Clarissa se pone a hablar and then she forgets to crochet. We did we did 2 rounds. Okay. I will see you in the next video, my loves. If you have any other kind of video requests before the end of the year, also do let me know. And oh my god, it's already Vlogtober, so if you have any of your favorite vloggers out there, maybe they're doing Vlogtober, check that out and let me know which are some of your favorite vlogs, okay? Again, thank you so much for spending some crafty time with me today. I will see you in the next video. Until then, happy crafting. Bye! And this is why Clarissa shouldn't have more than 10 ounces of caffeinated tea. Oh my god, traffic, stop!